It's the summertime, and the warm weather recently has made me start thinking about all the times we've seen the Muppets go swimming over the years. On very rare occasions, the Muppets have performed songs and sketches underwater. Of course, not actually underwater, bringing a cast of characters made entirely out of foam, felt, and synthetic hair into a body of water typically isn't a very good idea, although they have pulled it off a few times. Underwater Muppet segments filmed on dry land tend to sell the illusion by using props and backdrops, including the occasional usage of blue screen and green screen, as well as having the puppeteers maneuver swimming Muppets with a bit more weight to make it look like they're truly underwater. And to help complete these scenes, background sea creature Muppets are also typically added in. While background animals such as bunnies, chickens, and pigs appear all the time in Muppet productions, sea creatures are fairly uncommon to see, just because of how infrequent underwater Muppet sketches are. But when it comes to this obscure group of background characters, one has always stood out to me as a personal favorite. This green octopus guy right here, Herbie. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Muppet Deep Dive. I'm your host Ty, and today I'm very excited to break into new territory in this series, as we cover not only easily the most obscure character I've ever talked about in the Muppet Deep Dive series, but also a type of character that's very uncommon to see, an underwater animal. This is the full history of Herbie the Octopus. This background octopus character, who would later go on to be named Herbie, first appeared in 1978 in Season 3, Episode 12 of The Muppet Show, which guest starred James Coco. This background octopus was one of several sea creature Muppets used to fill out the ensemble for this opening song. The song in question, The Beatles' Octopus's Garden. Quite fitting, of course. This segment featured Robin primarily singing, joined alongside Kermit, Miss Piggy hilariously dressed as a mermaid, Animal who gets chased off by this horrifying thing, and a whole fleet of background fish. It used blue screen to make it appear as if the Muppets were truly swimming, giving us some very interesting shots where you could clearly see where the puppeteer's arm is supposed to go in characters like Robin and Kermit. Of course, with a song about an octopus, you needed to have an octopus in there somewhere, right? That's where the guy this episode is all about comes in, playing the drums in the background of several shots. He has all of his tentacles, as you'd expect, a big round green head with some speckles on it, sad eyes with these very prominent eye bags underneath, and notably no mouth. Something that does make sense, as octopi don't have mouths, they have beaks on their undersides. The octopus doesn't speak, it isn't really prominently featured in the sketch, it's simply a part of the band playing the song as it plays the drums with its multiple tentacles. This is a far cry from the previous Muppet productions that featured Octopus's Garden. Yeah, The Muppet Show wasn't the first time the Muppets performed this song, it was actually done 2 times prior. First, in the first ever season of Sesame Street in 1969, a cover of Octopus's Garden appeared as a segment starting in episode 19. In this segment, the song was performed by an Anything Muppet, puppeteered by Jim Henson, a deep-voiced blue fish, Frank Oz, and a yodeling clam performed by Sesame Street composer Joe Raposo. Throughout the entirety of the sketch, you can see an octopus floating around in the background. Much like this one on The Muppet Show, it's green and has no mouth. But unlike the one on The Muppet Show, it gets a bit more focus, as the Muppets break from the song to explain that an octopus has 8 arms.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a lot of octopus.
No, I think that's the standard amount of octopus. The following year, the song would be performed again on The Ed Sullivan Show, with Jim Henson once again performing a diver. This time, Frank Oz played an octopus that constantly interrupts the song with bad fish puns.
Oh, sing that tuna with soul!
Naturally, he meets his fate at the end of this sketch when a giant clam comes out of nowhere and eats him. Yeah, serves you right, octopus, that's what you get for making bad fish puns. Yeah, he's dead now. He died for that. So as you can see, the Muppets have performed this song on several occasions, and each time the titular octopus has been featured to different degrees of prominence, with the Muppet Show easily being the least amount of time the octopus is focused on, and the Ed Sullivan Show version having the octopus practically take over the song. While I think the Muppet Show version of this song is easily the definitive Muppet performance of it, I would have liked to see them do a bit more with the octopus. Him being a background element in a song about his garden is a bit strange in my opinion. After the song ends, we have a joke that I always distinctly remembered. Kermit calls for the dancing sponges to come on stage next to help clean up all the water. And it really disappointed me as a kid that we never actually see their act. Following his first appearance on The Muppet Show, the octopus would appear again the following year, 1979, in the Muppet movie's Rainbow Connection finale scene. Basically, every Muppet from both The Muppets and Sesame Street that were actively being used at the time was featured in this scene somewhere, and you can see the octopus in the upper left-hand corner. He's one of the bigger, non-full-body Muppets here. Later on this same year, the Octopus Muppet would appear again in The Muppet Show, in Season 4, Episode 11, guest starring Lola Falana. After the opening number of the episode, Kermit calls for the next act to come on stage, Herbie the One Octopus Band, giving this background character a name.
Okay, the One Octopus Band on stage, please! Okay, Herbie, get out there! Get out there! Move it, move it, move it!
He goes to perform When the Saints Go Marching In, off-screen, as we see a backstage scene play out. First the dancing sponges, now Herbie the Octopus. This just isn't fair. At the very least, you can hear Herbie play When the Saints Go Marching In the background as this backstage scene plays out. In this episode, Gonzo has been offered a movie deal, and Miss Piggy is trying to get in his good graces, telling him that if he sees any producers, to recommend her. There's not much to talk about with this scene, but if you ever wanted to hear Miss Piggy refer to herself as a sex goddess, here you go, that's in there.
If you should ever happen upon a producer who is looking for a sex goddess.
After Gonzo tells Piggy that he'll recommend Camilla to the producers, Piggy needs to take her anger out on somebody. Unfortunately, poor Herbie has just finished his song. This octopus puppet appears once again in The Muppet Show in Season 5, Episode 5, guest starring James Coburn, and it's easily his most prominent appearance, as Herbie is part of a trio of octopuses that perform the episode's opening number. Their band, the Sargasso Bottom River Boys, a reference to the Sargasso Sea, perform the song Temptation on drums and kazoos. Not a fan of their drumming, Animal gets progressively more and more unhinged as he watches them, eventually breaking his way onto the stage and attacking the three octopuses, starting off by mauling poor Herbie here. Now you may have noticed that, starting with this appearance, Herbie's Muppet was actually slightly modified, as he now features a mouth, which he didn't have before, probably done so that he could play the kazoo alongside the two other Muppet octopuses who were created, I believe, originally for this sketch. But in addition to them cutting a mouth into the pre-existing Herbie puppet, they also slightly changed his eye focus. As you can see, his pupils are a bit lower down, whereas before they were attached to his eyelids. Now that he has a mouth, the octopus makes a few miscellaneous noises while being chased around by Animal. Surprisingly, Herbie actually continues to appear in this episode beyond just this one scene. You see, when Animal is attacking the band, he picks up Herbie and throws him into Statler and Waldorf's box. He remains here for the rest of the episode, starting a running gag where Statler and Waldorf make some sort of fish pun, and Waldorf gets pushed out of the box.
Help me throw him out! No, he's a family man. He is? Yes, he's got a wife and squids.
Unfortunately, Herbie doesn't speak, that is, until the credit scene, where we see that he's completely tied Statler and Waldorf up in his tentacles, and wants to see more of the show.
More!
For his one line, Herbie was portrayed by Dave Goelz. This episode, released in 1980, would be Herbie's final appearance on The Muppet Show, but it wouldn't be his final appearance ever. I was able to find 3 more times this octopus Muppet was used after the Muppet Show ended, and all 3 of them are from some pretty strange places, with the first of them easily being the weirdest. 3 years after his final Muppet Show appearance, in 1983, the Herbie the Octopus Muppet was reused for a photo made for Volume 9 of the Sesame Street Treasury. This was a series of Sesame Street books released throughout the early 1980s that taught kids basic concepts through stories, comics, and activities. Like Sesame Street itself, each volume of the Sesame Street Treasury would focus on a specific letter or letters and a number, which correlated with the volume of the book. Herbie, in particular, is featured on the cover of Volume 9, and on a one-page story on the inside that reuses the cover photo. Here, he's swimming with Ernie, or should I say she, as in this appearance, the Octopus Muppet was renamed to Octavia Octopus, Ernie's swim instructor. And funny thing about this volume of the Sesame Street Treasury, I actually own it, so let's take a look at the one-page story inside and what it says. During his summer vacation at the beach, Ernie decided to take swimming lessons, and what a wonderful instructor he had. Octavia Octopus, champion swimmer, taught Ernie to do the breaststroke, the backstroke, the crawl, and the butterfly. She taught him how to tread water and how to swim very fast and for a very long time. Octavia told Ernie that there was only one problem with his style: not enough arms. It's not all that often we see the Muppet Show and Sesame Street using puppets from each other's productions. So to see them reuse this super obscure background Muppet Show puppet for one page and the cover of an issue of a Sesame Street book series is just so interesting to me. The next appearance of the Octopus Muppet is a lot less strange, as he appeared in the background of Episode 2 of the Jim Henson Hour in 1989, titled Oceans. You can see Herbie the Octopus in the background of 2 different sketches, alongside several other sea creature Muppets, and during one of these sketches, which is a musical number, we even see the other 2 Muppets that made up his band in Season 5 of The Muppet Show. Once again, Herbie didn't speak here, he was just in the background. Herbie the Octopus's final appearance I could find is another really strange one. In 1993, the Muppets released an album called Muppets Beach Party, and one song, Animal's cover of the Surfari's 1962 song Wipeout, was released as a single and got a music video that apparently aired during commercial breaks on both VH1 and Nickelodeon. And in a few different shots in the music video, you can see that playing the guitar for the song is none other than Herbie the Octopus. From what I could find, this is the final appearance of Herbie the Octopus. But he was actually featured in 2014's Muppets Character Encyclopedia book. On the Under the Sea 2-page spread, there's a section called 8 is Enough, featuring an image of the octopus as he appears in the Wipeout video. It's captioned, "With 8 tentacles making his bass playing 4 times better than most musicians, this Muppet Octopus had plenty of free time to tend to his shady garden."
I understood that reference.
And there you have it, guys. This has been the full history of Herbie the Octopus, a background Muppet character that I've always been quite fond of, and I had a whole lot of fun making this episode and doing the research for this guy right here. This is easily the most obscure character I've ever covered in Muppet Deep Dive, and it was pretty hard to go through and track down every time he showed up. If I missed any of his appearances, please let me know down in the comments, and also let me know what other characters, both major and minor, you'd like to see me discuss in future episodes of Muppet Deep Dive. Anyway guys, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.